Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this morning's webinar, The Top 5 Trucking Company Resolutions. Today's presentation will take about 35 minutes, which will leave us about 10 minutes at the end of the presentation for questions. So as questions do come to you, please send them through to the organizers using the question function in your personal webinar control box. And if there are any that we can't get to, we will be in touch with you directly after the webinar. We'll also be sending out a recording of this webinar to all of you following the event, so you don't have to be madly scribbling down notes. Now, I know your time is limited, so I'll just take a couple more seconds to introduce Tailwind and Linda Clare. So Tailwind's mission is to help those running trucking companies and freight brokerages to improve their profit, increase their cash flow, and to give them a bit more time to spend with their families at the end of the day. We offer a comprehensive transportation management software that helps you run your freight business more efficiently and effectively. We offer the software as a service so we can help you feel the wind at your back. And Linda? Well, in short, Linda is Tailwind's superhero. With over 40 years of experience in the transportation industry, Linda has seen it all, or at least close to it. She's been a dispatcher, a compliance officer, a controller, and now she is the super trainer here at Tailwind, teaching our customers how to use their trucking software to take their business to new heights. And with that, I'll turn the presentation over to Linda.
Thanks so much, Brad, and hello, everyone. As Brad mentioned, my name is Linda Clare, and I am the Training and Implementation Manager here at Tailwind. As Brad mentioned, I've had the pleasure of working in the industry now for over 40 years in various capacities. In my years of working in the transportation industry, I've had the opportunity to work with multiple TMS systems, and I always found Tailwind to be my personal favorite. I loved how organized and easy it was to use. So when the opportunity came for me to work at Tailwind, I leapt at the chance. I've worked with hundreds of our clients to optimize their usage of the Tailwind application and to improve their performance of our customers' users who use the system every day. Today, we're going to look at 5 resolutions, 5 of the top objectives you might have for your business in 2017. If you're like me, and like most people, you look to the new year as an opportunity to do something different, to make a change, improve something in your life. These 5 resolutions are things you can do to, well, to soup up your business. Here are the 5 resolutions we're going to be covering today. 1, protect your cash flow. 2, service your equipment regularly. 3, watch the numbers. Bid correctly. Analyze your expense. 4, fire bad customers. Keep the good ones, but know the difference. 5, optimize your office. We'll remove redundancy. So let's begin with our very first resolution here, protecting your cash flow. Oh boy, cash flow is the lifeline of any business, and especially trucking companies. And it can also be the biggest bane in your business. The challenge is that all of your costs are paid out up front, like investing in your equipment, your tractors and or trailers, your authorities, your insurances, your fuel. All of these are often paid out before you even move the load the first mile. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have to deal with slow-paying customers, customers who themselves are managing their cash flow and trying to drag out payment to you. It's like we're all tied to one big long rope, and at certain points there is slack, and then between 2 others on the line, the rope is taut and starting to fray. This can put an incredible strain on your cash flow and on your business, and probably you as well. If you are starting a brand new trucking company, then hopefully you have acquired enough financing to see you through 3 months of operations. But if you are struggling day to day to manage your cash flow, then perhaps it's time to look at some solutions. One option might be factoring. For some, factoring your receivables may be the way for you to go. But, and this is a big but, there is a cost to this. So make sure to include this cost as well into your expenses. Always be aware of what your factoring is costing you and research the factoring company. There are quite a few financial companies offering factoring services these days, and each one offers a different service or takes a different approach. Ensure you are researching them all, looking closely at their terms and what they say they will do for you. Also, ensure you are negotiating the best possible deal for you. They all offer different terms and services, so make sure to do your homework and find the very company that will offer all you want for the price you can afford. Another option is employing some good business practices when it comes to managing your receivables. Here are some good tips. Vet your customers. Conduct credit checks and bank references on your customers. A bit of work at the front end may save you working for a customer that does not pay their bills in a timely manner. Clearly state your terms. Make sure your terms are clearly stated on both your credit application and your invoice. Make sure your customers sign a credit application before you do any work for them, and keep that signed credit app attached to the customer record. Work your receivables. Make sure you make those receivable calls. It's no use getting all the information organized, tracking on all of it, and then letting it lie untouched on your desk. Work it. I remember that I would start making my calls the day the invoice was due, to making a weekly call thereafter until the invoice got paid. That old adage of the squeaky wheel gets the grease is really true. Keep reminding or even bugging the payable person at that company you are collecting from with phone calls and emails. Work your receivables every day if you can, and weekly at the very least. Running an AR report to track your receivables on a weekly basis is essential. Make notes on customer records on the details of the conversation to create a history of this particular customer. Remember that 80-20 rule. Know that 80% of your problems will come from 20% of your customers. So stay on them. And sometimes you may find that it just isn't worth it to haul a load for a customer that pays in unacceptable terms. Email your invoices electronically. Get that invoice out to your customer as quickly as possible. Get your drivers and owner-operators to send you those PODs immediately so that you can attach them to your invoices, getting that invoice and POD to your customers promptly. Remember, time is money in this business. Don't rely on the good old postal service. Email your customers. That will get the invoice to them a lot quicker and start the aging process. Make sure you know which of your customers are okay to get an invoice without a POD. There are some of them out there, and sending them the invoice on delivery day would be strongly recommended. So to summarize our first resolution, you can improve your cash flow either by factoring your receivables or employing good practices with your receivables. Factor only if the added costs work for you. If you manage your receivables yourself, make sure that you know your customers and vet them properly. State your terms clearly and upfront. Work your receivables on a regular basis with phone calls. Get the invoices out to your customers as quickly as possible. We'll take a quick moment to learn how the audience manages cash flow. We have two quick questions for you. Do you factor in your business? And do you vet your customers? We'll just give everyone a moment to respond to that poll there, and Brad will be able to show us the poll as soon as we get some results in here, everyone.
Just giving people a couple more seconds to vote.
Thanks, Brad.
Still see a few stragglers getting some notes in here.
Great. Thanks, everyone. We really good. We really appreciate your participation.
Some interesting results, at least so far.
Great.
I think just about to close it off, and then we could show some of the results here to people.
Perfect. Great. So there's the results, everyone. Oh, nice to see 0% in vetting customers. Well done, everyone. Good for you. All right. Let's move on to our second resolution. It's all about servicing your equipment. I can imagine almost all of you have had to deal with a breakdown in your career. I'm not speaking about a mental breakdown, although I'm sure it could happen to the best of us under difficult situations, but equipment breakdowns. Servicing your equipment is best filed under the topic of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I think Ben Franklin might have said that. Servicing your equipment is an area where you again have to spend money up front in order to save money in the long run. But it is well worth it, since the cost of breakdowns is significant, not to mention the disruption it can bring to other parts of your business. It also has what is called an opportunity cost, because it can take away your people from doing other things that are driving profits in your business. So it can be a bit of a double whammy. Setting a preventative maintenance, a PM schedule, and sticking with it can produce some great cost savings. It can help you avoid roadside breakdowns. It can save all associated costs that come with it, like expensive call-out repair shops, hotel rooms, and expenses for drivers that have their tractors in the shop, customer penalties for late deliveries. Statistics show us that a regularly maintained truck and trailer will have far less breakdowns. A good idea is to find a repair shop in your area and trade off loyalty for reduced labor rates. If you commit your equipment to one shop, they will be motivated to do their very best for you and offer some loyalty discounts on their labor rates. All shops like to know they have steady work and don't have to rely on walk-ins. Set up an acceptable PM schedule and follow it. Not only will this benefit your relationship with the ICC, DOT, and NSC, but it will benefit your bottom line as well. Repairs done on the road are notoriously more expensive than the maintenance and repairs caught in a PM service. Set up your PM schedules for your tractors and trailers, and if a heavy haul company, also include your boosters and dollies. And stick to that schedule as tightly as possible. If you have a piece of equipment out on the road that is due for a PM service, get it back to the home base and into the shop. Don't pull that age-old trick of, oh, well, I'll get it done next time it comes back. This is often a recipe for disaster, as it's typically those pieces of equipment that break down on the road and end up costing you more than if you had simply delivered that piece of equipment to the shop closest to its service date. Servicing your equipment is not only a good cost-saving procedure for your business, it is also essential for compliance. Tracking those PM services in your trucking software will allow you to provide evidence to the DOT, ICC, and NSC officers in your service schedules and the fact that you are doing all that is required to maintain the safety of your fleet. We'll take a few seconds to learn how the audience takes their preventative maintenance. And remember, this is all anonymous, so there's no judgment here. So please, let us know. Do you have a PM schedule? And if so, how closely do you follow it? Again, just a quick poll question, everyone. Help us out. Help us to understand our users out there. And we'll see the results here as soon as everyone offers their opinion or what they do. I like the I live on the edge one.
Looks like some people are really thinking about it, so taking a bit of extra time to get through. All right, I think we have a majority that have voted here. Oh, we got last minute votes coming in. We'll give it a couple more seconds.
Great. I'm interested to see these results. This truly is an area that can help on cost savings as long as you're doing your PM. And as I mentioned, it certainly keeps you in good standing with the governing bodies. Oh, great, 10% said I live on the edge. I love it. Well, not really, but thanks, everyone. That's great feedback for us. Okay, let's move on to our third resolution, watching your numbers. Boy, this is probably the driest subject of all, because who wants to sit down and analyze numbers? But knowing and tracking on your numbers is essential to business success. It requires a laser-like focus, if you will. Not having some baseline numbers or metrics for your business operations other than what's left at the end of the month or year will act as kryptonite to a successful 2017. Being able to track your revenues, your costs, your margins, your profits, and doing this on different sections or pieces of your business is important. The new year is a signpost of time in which you dispense with the old and start with the new. If you have good numbers, you can fix or eliminate those things dragging you down while focusing on the things that are going right. Having a good handle on the numbers gives you the ability to answer questions like, with what customer or customer group are you making the most margin? What's your cost per mile? Is your driver doing too many taxi miles? Is a particular truck running inefficiently? Or is it burning too much fuel? What drivers, what carrier partners are costing you the most money? What lanes are delivering the most profit? How much should you quote for a particular load? Will it be good business based on the characteristics of the trip? Having accurate numbers allows you to make better decisions about your business. And isn't that the essence of a resolution? Not accepting the same old of how your business ran in 2016, but making a decision to do something better and improving things in 2017. And to make these decisions, you need reports, ideally automated reports that give you the numbers you need on a systematic and consistent basis. That is where a solid tracking software can really help your business. Ensuring that you are using comprehensive software package that will track all the important elements of your business will allow you to make better and more informed decisions. Decisions such as what you should stop doing and decisions on what you should do more of. Otherwise, it's like going to a football game with a blank scoreboard, and other than watching some athletic activity, the spice of competition is missing. So in 2017, you don't have to be perfect. No one is. But at least find a way to be better than your competition, to improve more quickly than them. I'd like to share a tip with you, if I may. Taking a load from a load board does not promote long-term relationships with your customers. And while Tailwind Transportation Software integrates and needs to integrate with load boards, it is important to understand that running your business solely in a load board rodeo is not a good long-term business practice. Loads posted on load boards draw highly competitive activity. That is their strength and also their weakness. It's a bit of a quick fix, which might be useful, but it comes with a challenge in that the loads rarely move at a good rate. They are one-off loads and do not lend themselves to good long-term profits. Using load boards might be a good way to start in the industry, but should not be seen as a long-term solution. I believe that a successful business needs to be built through the sweat and toil of sourcing your own customers. Build solid long-term relationships with them. This is where a good transportation management software package helps. It allows you to track customers, not truck them. It allows you to track customers and gives you rate histories. It can act as a good customer resource management or CRM software for you, and will allow you to make notes on your last calls with them. Working through your customer list as you build it and taking the time to source out actual shippers can move you away from dependency on load boards and turn your operation into a very profitable one. I truly find that most customers these days are looking for long-term relationships with their truckers, one built on loyalty and honesty, one where the customer can rely on honest and accurate information on where their loads are, and where the trucking company can rely on a steady stream of loads coming directly from that shipper. Working solely off load boards and taking loads only from freight brokers can lead to disaster if you become reliant on these sources, only to find that you get replaced with the next company that comes along ready to drop their rates. These types of loads typically don't pay as well, as there are middlemen taking their cut in between you and the actual shipper. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying load boards are bad. They aren't. I am saying that a practice of solely running your business through load boards is bad. It commoditizes your business and gravitates to the lowest common denominator, low pricing, at the expense of building a compelling value proposition for your business. Quoting is another area to watch your numbers. On the quoting side, knowing the area you are taking a load to will allow you to determine if you are going to have to send the driver 500 or 100 empty miles for his next load. Keeping your deadhead miles down is a given. A mile driven empty is a mile that only costs you money. If the customer is asking you to deliver the load to a busy city, take that into consideration, knowing your driver will face traffic delays and idling time costs. So when quoting your customer, remember to factor in the pickup and delivery areas and any delays that might result, as well as analyzing where that driver will pick up his next load and where freight might be in relationship to the delivery point. Looking ahead will allow you to add in some BOP money to cover the cost of those deadhead miles. Now, for some more audience participation, I think this is our last one. Please let us know through the poll. Do you use some type of trucking software that gives you good reports? Your options here. Yes, you've got X-ray vision across all your numbers. Yes, but you still need to use pen, paper, and Excel. Or no, numbers just aren't my thing. I let someone else take care of the numbers. Go ahead, everyone. We'll give you all a minute to complete the poll for us again.
Looks like a couple people have that superpower, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
X-ray vision.
You run trucking, if you run a trucking business without good reports, another analogy is it's like flying by the seat of your pants. Good reports are going to help you make better decisions.
All right, I think we have most people come in now, so I'll close it up and share with everyone.
Great, thanks, Brad. Nice to see everyone. Excel can be tough, but useful. Sorry, Brad, to interrupt.
No problem.
Okay.
I'm glad to see that everyone is at least doing some work. It looks like some people are doing a lot watching the report, so that's quite heartening.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's move on to our fourth resolution. You may find this one interesting, everyone. It's about firing your customers. Okay, while it involves firing your customers, it doesn't sound like a good idea, does it? Well, sometimes I worry that our marketing department gets a bit excited and comes up with these lines. Let's clarify what we're saying here. You need to optimize your customer mix. You need to be honest with yourself and make decisions about what is good business for you and what is bad business for your business. And it's not a simple decision of this guy has got better margins right now versus the other guy, but rather taking a sober look at which group of customers is going to serve your business interests better in the longer term. We touched a bit on this issue with my load board tip. Businesses get into trouble by trying to be all things to all people, chasing each and every dollar eventually leads to destruction because it can cost you more than $1 to get that dollar from some of your customers. Do that long enough with a lot of them, and you're out of business. Everyone should know their baseline for good business. This is a powerful line I have heard some of my bosses use with our customers. Unfortunately, I just don't feel that we are a fit for each other. We don't feel that this is a good business relation for our company. That's not mean. That's simply a statement of feeling. You are not in the business of subsidizing other businesses. You have the right to promote your own interests, and hopefully you do it where there is a mutual interest and mutual gain with the customer. If there isn't, you can be sure a customer won't remain loyal. But the question must be asked, why should you? And it doesn't mean torching the relationship. Sometimes when a customer goes out and starts looking at replacing your services, they realize the cost of replacement and come back to you with something more aligned with your needs. It doesn't need to be fraught with conflict, but it needs honesty and some courage. I would recommend to each of you that you never allow one customer to represent any more than 25% of your business. If they do, they're running your business. You really don't. Ensuring you are vetting your customers will help your cash flow, enable you to get better rates, and with good service provided will allow your customers to recommend you to other customers. While shippers are always concerned about the rates, they are also looking for good service. Building your reputation to be a carrier that delivers on time and without claims brings not only loyalty from the customers you serve, but will also lead to more customers. That old adage of providing good customer service really does ring true. Shippers are always happy to get a good rate, but rates mean nothing if the service is not there. And trust me, your shippers will remember that bad service long before they remember the good rate. And let's talk about those loads you get from all those load posting sites out there for another minute. These just aren't the best loads, nor the best rates, as load boards inflame and encourage competition, which typically leads to lower rates. The heyday of trucking ended in the 80s with the advent of industry deregulation. Prior to that, we all had to file our tariffs, which kept our rates protected. Today, we are in a constant battle to bid the job high enough to get the profit, high enough to make a profit, and low enough to get the load. Finding customers that are more interested in your service than your rates will help you achieve this. And I guarantee, with a little effort and some legwork, you can find those customers. Freight brokers may play an important role in your business, but you also need to realize that working for freight brokers will also reduce the rate to you. They have to make money to cover their costs, so of course we'll take a cut out of the rate. Finally, there are those customers that have a lot of demands, ask you for outrageously low rates, and want to stretch your services in ways that just don't make sense. While it may seem like turning away a customer is a crazy idea, sometimes you just have to lay it out there and say, hey, this just isn't a fit. So look for good customers, not just loads from freight brokers and load boards. Build a relationship with these customers. Become a part of their team. Offer to be a partner in their success. And when you do get a customer worthy of your effort, make sure you vet them properly, get credit applications, and set your terms firmly with them up front. All the negotiation at the front end of a partnership will reduce problems later on. Then, service the heck out of them. Show them that good service far outweighs cheap rates. Have you ever fired, we have one more poll, I'm sorry. Have you ever fired a customer? Let us know in the attached poll. And remember, please keep sending us questions through the chat function if you have any. Great, we'll take another moment here again. This is the last poll. We'll wait for your answers. I personally have never fired a customer in all my time working for transportation. I certainly got angry at a number of them, but I never fired them. And now that I'm working in software and working with many different companies, I can see the need to, on occasion, fire customers. We'll let Brad gather those questions, those answers for us.
This is actually really interesting. I'm seeing a lot. I'm actually surprised, but looks like quite a few of you are there willing to stand up and say, you know what, these customers aren't working out for us, or this relationship isn't working. So anyway, I'll share this very shortly. Just going to give a couple more seconds for people to get their final votes in.
Thanks, Brad. And congratulations to those of you that recognize a good customer and a bad customer.
So there are the
nice.
results.
Well done. Good for you guys. That's great. All right. Let's move on to our last and final, same thing, right? Our last resolution. There's lots of resolutions you can take. These are the top 5 we're recommending to you. It's about optimizing your office. Constantly in motion, all over the place. What does that sound like? Oh, right. It's when my grandchildren come over for a visit. No. Okay. So I'm talking about a trucking company. All businesses require a well-thought-out back office, and even more so in trucking. I'll just give Brad a moment to catch up with us here. We're just waiting for our slides. Brad?
Sorry about that. We seem to just have the poll stuck on there. Let me back up a bit here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see if that's looking a little bit better there, Linda.
Good, yes. Thanks so much, Brad. And there's Linda Carter. I guess we're not talking about her either, but so confusion, constantly in motion, that back office, that admin office. All businesses require a well thought out back office, and even more so in trucking. Your margins can be thin. You need to ensure that you are working at the most efficient level possible. Spend some time thinking about how you want the office to run, as well as your office workflow. The things that could be automated, the things you can do to reduce redundancy in your admin department. Essentially, this is what transportation software does. It takes the things that trucking and freight brokerage companies have to do and automates them. So you can eliminate or reduce labor hours that can be better applied to other areas of the business, or to reducing your costs and increasing your margins. Trucking runs on efficiency, and the company that is most efficient will grow and produce better results for your bottom line. Brad, could you mute yourself? Thanks, Brad. Instead of just chasing after more loads and more revenue, you need to take a careful look at the cost side of your business. It is a common practice for trucking company owners to focus on their largest expenses, like equipment purchasing, maintenance, and fuel, even though there are savings to be had in other areas. This refers back to our watching those numbers. I work with lots of different trucking companies, and it amazes me how many work without a budget. Having a budget will benefit you in many ways. First of all, it makes you take the time to analyze your expenses and revenue, giving you a clearer picture of what's going on with your company. Many small fleets will hire a year-end accountant that provides a profit and loss statement once a year. You need that analysis on a monthly basis, not annual. Having a software that can break down your expenses to by order, by dispatch, and by overhead expenses can allow you to see a clearer picture. Having a software that will provide you with a P&L statement report 5 to 7 days after the close of the month will provide you with a better understanding of your costs, and will also allow you to act quicker to resolve mistakes made in the past month so that you don't keep repeating them for months down the road. Setting a budget and tracking your costs can eliminate small, needless expenses. It is so easy to spend $5 here or $10 there, but those costs add up quickly on a monthly basis and can be the difference between a profitable month or a month that ended up costing you money. A small example of this is ensuring your employees get everything they need versus everything they want. Trucking today does not allow much ability for you to set the rates you want. Freight rates are completely driven by competition these days, so the biggest and most powerful tool you have is to reduce your costs. Having a software package that will organize and produce reports for you can be the difference between success and failure. And employees must also be engaged in your optimization efforts. You'll need to educate your employees on what improvements are needed and make them accountable to one another for those improvements. For instance, you could incentivize your dispatchers to move the loads as efficiently as possible by giving that dispatcher a percentage of the profit on each load he or she moves. Or offering your maintenance manager an incentive program based on cost savings of your maintenance can have huge benefits. He or she can work toward reducing your maintenance costs, which helps line your pockets and their own. Bringing some admin functions that you have previously outsourced back in-house can be a great cost savings. Trucking is very heavy on the admin side, and we find many smaller fleets outsource processes like log auditing, IFTA reports, licensing. Educating your employees to do these processes in-house might be a better answer for you, and there are a number of software packages you can get that make these jobs simpler and easier. Again, you don't have much control over rates these days, but you do have control over admin office efficiency and costs. Use it to your advantage. Now, in closing, we don't have a last poll question, but in closing, my hope for all of you in 2017, I hope that you employ the things that you have heard here today. Protect your cash flow. Keep your equipment serviced. Watch your numbers. Fire those bad customers. And optimize your office. It will work wonders for your business so that 2017 becomes a super year of success for you and your families. If you feel like, oh, I'm just going to switch over here, Brad, I'm going to switch presenters now so I can show them our screen here. Give me just a moment, everyone. Brad, can you let me know if my screen's displaying? No, there we go. Sorry, that took me a moment. Okay, there we go, everyone. If you feel that Tailwind's TMS and I can help you in that endeavor, then send me an email at asklinda@tailwindsys.com or phone Tailwind at 1-866-441-0441. Thanks so much for being with us today. I do wish you the best of luck in 2017. I'm going to turn things back to Brad now so we can all get to those questions that have been coming in. Over to you, Brad.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Linda, and thank you everyone for your questions. Please do keep them coming in here. So without further ado, I'll just get into them right now. What types of reports should I be looking at the end of the month?
All right. Well, I can only show you in the Tailwind software, but in your own software, of course, you will choose these individual reports if they have them. So I would think at the end of the month, well, you definitely want to be running your AR agings. You definitely want to see those. Perhaps revenue per customer. Seeing what each customer is giving you in that month might be a good analytical report. Of course, those profit and loss statements or trial balances. Hope that helps. Another question for me, Brad?
Yeah, somebody's asking, how can software actually help me manage cash flow?
Oh, well, again, it's all about the numbers. It's about being able to see your AP aging, your AR agings. It's all about the numbers to manage your cash flow. Being able to run a report on what your factoring costs cost you that month. Setting a budget. That's how software can help you manage cash flow.
Makes sense. It looks like we have a couple more questions coming in here. One seems pretty basic, like how do I go and find good shippers?
Oh, boy, isn't that the age-old question that everyone would like the answer to? I always found that it did take hard work, diligence, and legwork. There's a ton of directories that are being published these days. The advent of the internet has truly helped us and brought more competition to us as well. But there's lots of directories. DAT has a shipping directory. So find those shipper directories out there. Find the shippers in your area. Go visit them. Put a face behind your name. Meeting them, shaking hands. People like that these days. We've lost that direct customer service. Let's go back to it. Go and meet your shippers. Establish a relationship with them. But mostly, I guess my biggest tip there would be find those directories out there on the internet that are available to you now that will list shippers in your area or shippers in any city across North America. Hope that helps. Back to you, Brad.
Excellent. And a fourth question here, how would you suggest that a small trucking company brings outsourced processes back into the office?
Oh, okay. Well, that's talking about all those different softwares. So you send log auditing out to, for example, log auditing. You send it out to a company that does it on a regular basis. They've trained their staff. Their staff knows how to look at hours of service rules. Not everyone that works in the industry knows those hours of service rules. And auditing logs manually is an extremely tough process. It takes hours and hours. However, there's lots of great software out there now that will help you do that. I can think of 3 log auditing programs, JJ Keller, RapidLog, and Hutch. All have log auditing programs. My personal favorite, and I think it's in the middle of the pack price-wise, my personal favorite was RapidLog. It does a great job. You scan the log in, and it will analyze the hours of service and give you a report on any infractions or if the driver's done a great job. So things like that, bringing those outsourced like log auditing, your IFTA. Tailwind has a great IFTA module that will organize your reports. Most TMS do have great IFTA modules where it will break your miles down to an interjurisdictional level and will account for all fuel purchased. So use software to your advantage. Software purchased is cheaper than hiring one person for a year or 2. Back to you, Brad.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more question. I know we're pushing up right to the end of the time here, but how can a TMS help with equipment servicing?
Oh, because it can help track your servicing. So the ICC DOT want to know you're doing this. You want to know you're doing this. So being able to track those services. Let's go and have a look at our equipment here. So here I can show you an equipment record. And when you bring in the invoice into a TMS software, you can allow the software to place a service record on your equipment so that you can see the last time it was done. Setting up those PM schedules that we talked about and having the software remind you when a PM schedule is due so that you never miss those schedules, tire rotations, whatever that schedule might be. The software can not only remind you, but can keep track of it and show all details of that service that was done. Hope that helps.
I think so. And well, thank you everyone for giving us a few extra minutes. I know we were over the 45-minute mark, but we're sticking pretty close to it. And we will be emailing or calling all those that have left questions that we haven't had a chance to get to yet. At the end of this webinar, there will also be a very short survey for you. It's like 3 questions, and it would be very helpful for us as we put together future webinars for you. And again, should you like to learn more about Tailwind and how we can help in your trucking company, please let us know by email at asklinda@tailwindsys.com, and we can even set you up with a free 30-day trial. Thanks everyone for attending, and we wish you a healthy and prosperous 2017.
Thanks, Brad, and thanks everyone. Have a great day.